So here's the big news. Meghan Markle is getting a fancy award at a big event in Los Angeles. Sounds cool, right? But wait, not everyone is cheering. The award is from the Natural History Museum of LA, and the event is called the Night of Wonder Gala. It's supposed to be a night full of honor and celebration, but the internet, it's full of people laughing instead of clapping. Why? Because people are confused. They're saying, what exactly did Meghan do to get this award? And to make it worse, comedian Jon Stewart, yes, the famous guy from TV, joked about it on his show. He called it a participation trophy for just showing up. Ouch. Let's go back a little to understand the full story. The museum is holding its fancy gala on June 14th. If you want to go, tickets start at $1,500 and go all the way to $250,000 for a VIP table. Yes, you read that right, $250,000 for one table. And the guest of honor, Meghan Markle. The museum says she's getting this award because of her work for women and underserved communities. But here's the problem. Nobody can really explain what work she actually did. People aren't seeing real projects or results. Instead, they remember her Netflix deals, a failed podcast, and her carefully planned Instagram posts. It feels like she's being rewarded for being famous, not for helping people. Just before the award news, Meghan dropped a surprise bonus podcast episode. This one featured Tina Knowles, who is Beyonce's mom. The episode talked about family and empowerment, but it felt more like a carefully planned brand move than something meaningful. Listeners noticed how scripted it sounded. Instead of deep thoughts, there were name drops and fancy phrases. It felt more like a commercial than a real story, and that's when people really started asking, why is Meghan getting this award again? Then Jon Stewart stepped in. On his show, he mocked the whole award, saying it's like giving someone a prize just for showing up. The audience laughed. Social media went wild. The clip went viral. Suddenly, the whole gala didn't seem so glamorous anymore. What was supposed to be a moment of celebration turned into a public joke. And Meghan, her team stayed totally silent. No interviews, no tweets, no explanations. Now here's the big question. What is Meghan actually being honored for? The museum says it's because of her advocacy and empowerment work. But when people hear that, they want proof. They're asking, where are the projects? Who did she help? What's the real impact? Because when you look at Meghan's track record, there's a lot of talk, but not much action. She's been in the news for fancy speeches, book deals, and Hollywood events, but not many can name one clear project she led that helped real people in a big way. And this isn't the first time Meghan has gotten an award people didn't understand. Ever since she and Prince Harry left royal life, they've received all kinds of honors. Most influential, humanitarian, changemaker, the list goes on. But many of these awards come from groups that seem to care more about their celebrity than their contributions. Sure, they've shown up at big events and given powerful speeches, but what have they followed through on? Her Netflix and Spotify deals made a lot of noise in the beginning, but ended quietly. Her foundation, Archwell, sounds nice, but doesn't have a long list of success stories. People feel like there's a big gap between her image and her actions. And guess what? It's not just internet trolls or gossip sites making fun of the gala. Even some museum donors, historians, and supporters are speaking out. They're saying, hey, isn't this museum supposed to celebrate science, history, and education? Why are we handing out awards to a celebrity who doesn't even work in those fields? Some are even calling it a sellout move, that the museum is trading its values just to have a famous person attend and maybe attract rich donors. And for regular folks, it feels even more frustrating. Imagine paying $1,500 for a ticket only to hear a buzzword-filled speech that doesn't say much. One of the strangest parts? Meghan's team hasn't said a word. No press releases, no interviews, no social media responses, just silence. And sometimes, that silence says more than words ever could. It makes people wonder, maybe even Meghan's team knows this event isn't going as planned. Maybe they expected applause, but all they're getting is awkward laughter and confused faces. It's becoming clear that Meghan is trying hard to stay relevant. She's showing up at big events, dropping podcast episodes, and standing next to big names like Beyonce's mom. But people are noticing that all of it feels more about image than impact. And in today's world, that doesn't last long. If there's no real work behind the fame, people stop clapping, and they might even start laughing. Soon it wasn't just Jon Stewart making fun of the gala. Podcasters, Twitter users, YouTubers, and even other comedians started jumping in. Late night shows, which usually avoid royal drama, couldn't resist this one. People began calling the event the Night of Blunder instead of the Night of Wonder. Why? Because the idea of a natural history museum giving an award to someone known more for fashion and fame than science or history just didn't make sense to them. It was a perfect setup for jokes. A museum about dinosaurs giving an award to someone who's never dug up anything but old headlines. It sounds mean, but it's not just hate for no reason. It shows how tired people are of celebrity activism being treated like real work. Let's be fair. On paper, Meghan has done a lot. She's been an actress, a duchess, a podcast host, a children's author, and a philanthropist. That's a long list. But when people look closer, many of those roles seem unfinished. Her children's book came and went without much talk. Her Spotify deal canceled early. Her Netflix shows barely made any waves. Her foundation still doesn't have strong results to show. So people are starting to ask, is Meghan being praised for what she's done or what she says she'll do? The biggest issue isn't Meghan's fame. It's the lack of follow-through. She enters new spaces with big promises. She gives emotional speeches and says she wants to make a difference. But then nothing happens. The podcast ends. The project fades. The foundation goes quiet. Yet the awards keep coming. And that's what frustrates people. They feel like she's always hitting refresh on her image, but not actually doing the work behind the scenes. This gala was supposed to help fix that. It was her chance to change the story, to show people she's more than headlines. But instead, it made things worse. It turned into a spotlight on the problem. And now, it's not just about Meghan, it's about the Natural History Museum too. People are starting to question the museum's choices. They're saying, are we honoring science and education or chasing stars for attention? Some longtime museum members and even staff are reportedly upset. They didn't sign up to be part of a Hollywood red carpet event. They wanted to support education, conservation, and science. But now, it feels like the museum is becoming part of the problem, choosing celebrity over substance. So what happens next for Meghan Markle? That depends on what she chooses to do now. People don't hate her. They're just waiting to see real work instead of just words. If she truly wants to make a difference, she needs to step out of the spotlight and focus on real impact, because at the end of the day, awards don't mean much if the actions behind them don't match. And now we want to hear from you. Do you think Meghan deserved the award, or was Jon Stewart right to call it out? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss the real stories behind the headlines. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.